Welcome to the Think Holistic Podcast by Indie Holistic Hub, a show designed to help you on your wellness journey. When you think holistic, you live holistic. Find out more at indieholistichub.com. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Sefrin.
Hello, everyone. It is a great day to think holistic. I have the grand pleasure of having Dr. Robert Prather, the founder of Holistic Integration, with me today. Holistic Integration is formally known as the Prather Practice. And for over 30 years, they have been helping individuals attain wellness using a structure, function, care model, or whole body approach to identifying and treating illnesses. As we converse today, we're also gearing up for Holistic Hub Wellbeing Fest, sponsored by Health and Wellness of Carmel. It is our 7th annual event and right around the corner, happening on Sunday, November 13th. We will be downtown at the Biltwell at the Biltwell Event Center, there to empower your healthy lifestyle. So if you enjoy what Dr. Prather has to share with us today, as I know you will, you can come learn more from him and his team at the event. We are super thankful to Dr. Prather and the Holistic Integration team, as they are also a top sponsor of the event. Welcome, Dr. Prather. I'm so happy to have you here with us and to have you supporting Wellbeing Fest this year.
I'm very excited about it, and I'm so glad to be here and talking to you and just sharing our vision of healthcare.
Yes. Well, I think of you as a pioneer for our modern day world. And, for 30 years, you're someone that is here to represent bringing back a more natural approach and looking at things from a holistic paradigm, which I think is super meaningful.
Yeah, I actually started my practice here in Indianapolis in 1985. And back then, the alternative healthcare wasn't really that well known in this area. So yeah, being a pioneer in this area was exciting. And I was used to, when I was down in Atlanta, Georgia, working with a chiropractor I interned with, I actually graduated in 1983. I was used to working with neurologists and other different healthcare professionals. When I first went out there and started to speak to a lot of the professions that normally I was getting referrals from, here in Indiana, that wasn't done that much. So it's been quite a change along those lines. And a lot of the guys I actually talked to then eventually, who rejected it at first, got into the holistic model. So it's been fun to see the changes, and even recently, just the awareness of the problems with the medical system that we have is becoming very glaring. So we have something that is even more of a special message right now that people are listening to.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, yes. And your passion and your mission is very, very important. What is the mission behind what you do?
We want to change healthcare in America. We have a real problem here in this country. People don't know it, but we spend more than any other country on healthcare per individual, almost twice as much as the next country, which is Switzerland. But out of 35 industrial countries, we have the lowest success rate of any of them. So we have the worst outcomes and we spend the most money, which is a huge problem. And we feel that we have the answer. Structure function care is what that's called. So you have structure function and disease care. So the FDA, if you have a procedure or a product, first thing that the FDA does is determine, is it a structure function care or is it disease care? And structure function is basically where you're trying to balance the body, where you're trying to bring it into what's called homeostasis. And homeostasis is the very definition of health. So basically, structure function is improving the health of the individual. Disease care is managing the disease. You're not really trying to make the person healthier. You're just trying to manage the disease, cut down on the symptoms, and provide emergency and palliative care. And you're never going to fix our healthcare problems by approaching this model. It's not that we have to take the disease care and make it better. Quite frankly, we have the best disease care in the world. What we don't have is structure function care, where we're trying to make the person better. And structure care, it has to do with the positioning of the body and how it works, combined with function, which is the basic physiology of the body. And the two work together. Structure affects function, function affects structure, and you have to have both of those to make the improvement on the health, the maximum amount of improvement.
I love those examples and how you explain them. I think that's perfect for this show, for people to understand where different professionals might be coming from in approaching their own health and well-being, right? So
pharmaceuticals are not designed to make you healthier. They're there to treat symptoms, and they always have negative effects. If they don't have a negative effect, they can't be classified as a pharmaceutical. The proper balance that you're looking for on structure, because we're not trying to get rid of disease care. 20% of all healthcare should be disease care. 80% should be structure function care. That's the marriage that we're looking for. That's why we call our new name Holistic Integration, because we combine those two things. We have a medical doctor on staff, we have a physician assistant, and then we have all the structure function care procedures here so that we know which one you need and then get you into the right system for your particular condition.
yes, and that's something I was wanting to point out as well and have you highlight is you offer multiple services and therapies within your space at Holistic Integration. So would you want to highlight some of what you offer to people?
Sure. We have a medical director. We have a physician assistant who works underneath them that does the examinations, also does any type of referrals. We provide chiropractic, we provide acupuncture, we have massage here, we provide corrective exercises, we have an occupational therapist on staff. We also have health coaches, herbalists, nutritionists. We have people who specialize in weight loss, diet. We're very, very thorough on our diagnostics. We're actually more thorough on our diagnostics than if you went to Mayo or Cleveland. Many people talk about how many times we find things that other clinics don't have, haven't found. Because I'm also a diplomat in the American Board of Chiropractic Internists, which has been around since the 1970s when I first went for my first training under Dr. Cessna. And we get into, like, I have 650 hours of reading blood work, whereas the average MD only has 15 hours. So reading blood work, getting into all the different types of lab tests, we provide hair analysis, stool kits, really get in there and find out what's happening. And you don't really know how to treat unless you have done the diagnostics. So that's one of the main things that we do. We have our own phlebotomist here who's amazing at drawing blood. I get kind of squeamish when I get my blood drawn, and I can't even feel it when she does it, and she's done so quickly. But we do a tremendous amount of blood work here, really finding out you have to know. You have to know before you can treat. And that's one of the big things that we're really, really big about, is finding out really what's going on.
Yeah, not being afraid to find out. So with knowledge and awareness, then we can make decisions for ourselves that are in alignment with our goals. So I love that. Like, that's a great example, like the amount of hours that you have done studying blood work. And it goes to show you not every doctor's equal, not anything's equal, because they've done different amounts of study and advanced training and things like that. So it's really important to know the background of someone that you're going to work with.
Sure,
and
certainly.
With that too, what took you on this path? What is your background? Were you always interested in this holistic model of care?
Well, I developed, interestingly enough, I got a vaccination back when I was in high school. It was kind of forced on me. And I developed Graves' disease immediately. I had the next morning after I had the vaccination, I had a gray streak through my hair, which is a sign along those lines, which just kind of popped right up, which kind of shocked me. And then I was a freshman in high school. I weighed 175 pounds, and I dropped down within a year down to 145 pounds.
Mm.
And it took a couple of years really to figure out that I did have Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disease of the thyroid, hyperthyroid. So I developed a lot of different types of problems that were associated with that. Hypertension, weight loss. Guys used to come and just watch me eat, how much I would devour because of my calorie intake, because my hypermetabolism. And then I also developed a rare form of emphysema because my parathyroid also was not working correctly. So my arteries and my lungs actually started to calcify. So I started to have breathing problems, other different types of things. I went through, finally saw an endocrinologist, and they said that they were going to basically kill my thyroid, either through surgery or through radiation through the iodine. And I looked up all the symptoms that would, the things that would occur from that. And I said, oh, I don't want this. One of the things was possibility of infertility. And so I said, I want to try to figure out how to get this fixed naturally. Started going around to a lot of doctors and finally found a chiropractor who was able to put me on the right course. One of the things was adjustment of my atlas, changes in diet, found out what food allergies I had, cut that all down, and right now I am thyroid disease free. So we were actually able to completely fix that. I was a freshman in college, and I went from 150 pounds up to 200 pounds in less than 3 months after I got it fixed. Yeah, everybody thought I was taking steroids.
I
bet. So at that point, I said, oh, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to do with my life. And started to find out all the different types of aspects and wanted to be the very best. So as I went through chiropractic school, I found 6 different mentors that I went and learned from that I felt were the best in each of their categories. And then incorporated all the things that they taught me into my practice. So that's where I am.
Super amazing. And then I'm sure through time, then your team's grown and you have this whole group of folks who can wrap around an individual per what they're needing right now.
Right now we have 27 employees. So
wow,
it's a multidisciplinary, and basically we provide everything that you can think of in structure function care that we know of.
Mm-hmm. That's glorious. Thank you for wanting to be at your best to serve others. So again, back to the point that it's really important to know who you're working with and what their values are and what really drives them. So you touch many lives. I mean, over 30 years, and I know you have worked with people with many different kinds of diseases and ailments. So I love providing hope to people out there who are listening in. Like your story is an amazing boost of hope. What other stories have your patients experienced and successes that have taken them to new levels within their lives?
Well, we have people coming in for every different type of problem that's out there. One of the things that we always say is that we don't actually treat disease. So we let everyone know that we're not here to treat your disease. What we are here as a structure function care is to treat your body and help you to get better. And as we do that, a lot of things will actually get improved. So one of the things that is very, very true that is set up in the United States is that, well, disease is basically a combination of symptoms. And we're not really treating the symptoms. What we're doing is treating the underlying cause. So we're trying to improve the homeostasis of the system. So we have a lot of cancer patients who come in, which we always say that we're not treating their cancer, but what we're doing is treating their health. So we see people as they're going through chemo. Many of them, we actually, I had a gentleman who had very severe cancer. They said that, there really wasn't anything that they could do. They were going to go ahead and do the chemo. We did our part, and they're actually, once he got through the treatments, they didn't know what to do with him because they didn't think he would survive. And so he's continuing on his health journey and doing very, very well with everything. And the oncologists are thrilled.
Wow.
I had another lady who's actually been very vocal in putting out what we've done for her. So she had 4 years of breast cancer treatments, traditional. And basically they said, there's nothing more we can do for you, but she had very, definite breast cancer still going on. So she went completely with our care because there wasn't, the oncologist had already dismissed her. And she is now 1 year cancer-free. So we actually were following all the tumor markers. We were ordering all the different types of tests on her. And just through the natural care that we provided, her body was able to reverse that. And everything at this point, it hasn't been 5 years yet, but we do have a year under our belt and in full remission. And we have a lot of different cases along those lines of cancers. Had one gentleman with colon cancer. We had found they were getting him set up for chemo and surgery. And we started on his care because we found that he had parasites. And when we did the stool kit, special type of amoeba that was actually causing problems. We started on some herbals along those lines to get that under control. And by the time he went in to get checked for his surgery, he no longer had cancer.
Wow.
So, those are amazing types of things. And it's also very thorough on our diagnostics. Like I had a gentleman come in, I've had several people come in, and manganese can actually, high manganese toxicity can actually cause Parkinson's symptoms. And we had found, because his medicine wasn't working for Parkinson's, we found high manganese, got the manganese down, and all of his Parkinson's symptoms went away. So again, thorough diagnostics, really looking at the system, working with the healthcare, the disease care, making sure that people get the best of both worlds is basically what we really try to do.
That's beautiful. So I want to point out what you said for everybody and reiterate. You
Sure.
are not treating disease, you are supporting the health and homeostasis of a person.
We are getting the body as healthy as they possibly can. And then also we are looking to see if they also need some disease care, and knowing that it is great for emergencies and palliative type of care in the meantime, but we do not actually treat disease because that's a symptom-based healthcare system.
Yeah, beautiful. And I love your willingness to bridge with those that you need to support that person. So
yes, we always want what's best for the person and also give them choices. What is it that they're really looking for? I mean, I've had several cancer cases as we were looking at that. We started in, they said, hey, I don't even want to try, the chemo. I don't want to go the medical route. I said, well, let's keep an eye on everything. And then we'll let you know if you have to. And there's, many of them don't, but there are several that I sit there and I said, hey, this isn't working. Naturally, you need some chemo in the meantime. You need some radiation. You need something along those lines to help with this. You might need some heart medications as we're dealing with this. So there are, you might need hypertension. You might need diabetic medicine until we can get things under control. But always in every situation, when people are going through a disease process, they need structure function care along with that to optimize their potential of coming through it. Everyone really needs structure function care, both as a preventative maintenance, and then also during the worst of times. Structure function care should be a part of their healthcare system.
Beautiful. Well, a favorite part of what we like to do on the show here is to provide some tips to those listening in that can support them on their well-being journey. And that's part of what you've started talking about. So do you have 2 to 3 more health tips to share with those listening in?
Absolutely. One of the things that really people are absolutely amazed about is our upper cervical adjustment for the atlas. The lower brainstem actually controls everything. And one of the major things that turned my health around, and also I've seen in my patients, is we do something called the atlas orthogonal adjusting technique. And just today, we had 3 different people go through that on the first time, and it's the one thing that you can say, wow, I can tell the difference immediately on how I feel. And so that is probably the one thing that you can do with your health that makes the biggest difference of anything else is structurally getting that upper cervical, the occiput, atlas, and axis in its proper alignment, and getting that nerve flow going, because the nervous system controls everything. The other thing that I would say to people is thorough diagnostics. You need to have at least a basic type of diagnostics done on at least an annual basis. So getting your blood work going. It's just like we did blood work on a patient recently, and we went through it, and they were saying, hey, I'm having anxiety, I'm having panic attacks, I'm not quite sure why. And guess what? They had hyperthyroid. There you go. That's actually going to cause everything to be a problem. Their atlas was out also. I got that fixed. They felt immediately different. And I said, as we go through this, get your thyroid balance out. All those things are going to be fixed up. So thorough diagnostics, blood work. We do something called the Prather profile. I actually didn't name it the Prather profile. The LabCorp actually named it.
Really?
So when I first started out, I said, hey, can you make this a profile for me? I gave them the lab tests that I wanted, and they said, hey, these are pretty good. This is a pretty good profile, very thorough. I really see how this works out. Do you mind if we offer this to other doctors? I said, sure. No, that would be great. I would love to share that with them. And they named it the Prather profile. And now it's actually in Quest and known as, you can order something called the Prather profile. And I've had people, even from California and Florida, sit there and say, are you the Dr. Prather of the Prather profile? I said, yeah, that's me. And they said, well, I love that profile. It gives everything that I need along those lines. And I think it's great. So that was a funny thing. Also hair analysis. Yeah, the hair analysis is very, very important on a yearly basis. It's amazing how many people have heavy metal toxicities. Just a really basic type of thing. 65% of all children have heavy metal toxicities. So getting that under control is very important. And then also a GI stool kit. Find out what's going on in the gut, because the gut controls the health in so many different types of ways. And is actually the key to 80% of all autoimmune diseases. So those are the 3 things on the diagnostics that I would really recommend, along with getting your atlas set as just a basic type of thing to keep yourself healthy.
I love how you were answering some of my questions, like that were forming in my mind, like before I even had to ask them. One of the things that I was thinking is, lots of doctors offer blood work. And so I was just going to ask you, how does one know if they're getting the proper blood work done? One doctor might do this blood work and another one does this blood work. So, how does one navigate that? So I suppose they can ask for the Prather profile.
They can, it's really like an executive profile. I test everything, because quite frankly, you don't know unless you don't test. It's like she wasn't expecting, that her thyroid was off, as far as on that, so what we do is we test it. And, it's one thing that, a lot of insurance companies dictate how care is given. And they say, do the minimum of everything. Yeah. And we don't believe in that. There's no reason, there's no, taking blood, you're going to make new, test it all out. Yeah. And then you can find out what's going on. Don't be stingy on it.
Yeah. Be aware, have the knowledge. Right. I love that. Thank you. Go above the baseline. So find someone out there who will do that for you, or go see Dr. Prather. And
Sure.
I could ask you a lot more personal questions, and that's not why we're here. So I get to see you at Wellbeing Fest. And
Oh, good. Looking forward to that.
everyone out there who has these kinds of questions or wants to know more, you can come meet Dr. Prather, meet his team, and ask some of those things. That's one of the wonderful things about Wellbeing Fest is they get to come interact with these different professionals and people there to support their well-being. And you get to see what resonates and fits for you right now. So thank you so much for being on the show with me today. Do you have any final sentiments that you would like to share?
It's something that people should be looking at is really finding a structure function doctor, someone who understands those things and incorporates that into their health and well-being, and someone who's very thorough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another thing I'd love to point out before we sign off is you have your own radio show. And that's also a great way for people to learn more from you and know you more. Do you want to tell people how to loop into that?
Yeah, we're on the Voice of Health on WIBC from 8 to 9. So you can catch us on there. We're also on Freedom and Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock. So you can tune in to those, but also if you get on our website, and we actually have podcasts that you can click on there. The Voice of Health is what it's called. Holistic Integration is the website. And we are in the top 10% of podcasts in the world.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So we actually, we had someone kind of look at that and say, wow, you're where we usually try to get people up to. And it wasn't anything that we worked on. We just put it out there and then started to spread. Switzerland, United Kingdom, China, actually, all those places are very big places that listen to our podcast. So we're international on everything that we do, which is fantastic.
It is. That is so neat. And I applaud you. And I'm so thankful that you're in our local community. I really appreciate your time. I invite everyone out there. We both invite all of you out there to come join us on Sunday, November 13th for Holistic Hub Wellbeing Fest. It's a glorious day of having supportive community around you, and it's full of a vendor marketplace, and we have speakers. You can learn more by going to the Indy Holistic Hub website at indyholistichub.com and clicking on Wellbeing Fest. And you can follow Dr. Prather and Holistic Integration at holisticintegration.com. Thank you, and be well, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Think Holistic podcast by Indy Holistic Hub, a show designed to help you on your wellness journey. When you think holistic, you live holistic. To find holistic professionals near you, go to indyholistichub.com.